Hey guys, happy Wednesday. Welcome to Hemp is Hope. You have the amazing Rachel Pence along with the amazing Will Smith, and we should have the amazing April joining us in a minute. Guys, we do Hemp is Hope on Wednesdays because we want to educate and keep you informed about all the information that we find. We know that it is not easy when you have an autoimmune disease, when you're diagnosed with a disease, when you're basically just trying to how they say life be lifing, right? When you're trying to live your best life,
Yeah.
manage your job, right? Take care of kids and live the healthiest version of yourself. And so that's what we're here for, right? We finding the tea for you. We're going to find out what's healthy, what's not. We're going to look into the questions that y'all send us, okay? And so before we'll get started, I am going to show y'all what I found about cancer and CBD, okay? Hey Miss Smith, how are you? And so I found some great information about CBD and how CBD has helped patients with their nausea and stuff. Hold on. With their nausea, it came from a study that they did. I think it's in Australia, but give me a second. Let me pull it up. And it's really good, y'all. So that's some really good information that I found, and I don't know why I am struggling to get out to share the screen today. Here we go. Let's get it. Cannabis and chemo. I think this. Nope, there you go, right there. All right, guys.
Al Jazeera filmed Daniel Haslam. Suffering from bowel cancer, his medicines made him too sick to eat. Only one thing relieved his nausea: marijuana. At the time, the only way he could get it was illegally. A dealer sent it in the post.
And to all those people that don't think I've tried everything, I have. I wouldn't be on this square. This is the last square I wanted to be on. Tried everything. Cannabis works.
In part because of pressure from patients like Haslam, several state governments in Australia have begun relaxing the rules surrounding the use of medicinal marijuana. The New South Wales government is running separate trials on the treatment of childhood epilepsy, terminal illnesses, and now the severe nausea caused by the chemotherapy used to treat cancer.
It's a really exciting trial. It's actually going to be the largest trial in the world of medical cannabis for this problem of preventing nausea due to chemotherapy. And we're using a novel type of cannabis that we really hope will be well tolerated by patients.
Matilda Kabani Dean wants to be on the trial. Her studies as a fine arts student were put on hold when she was diagnosed with rhabdomyosarcoma, a rare form of cancer.
There's one drug that I can't really leave the house for a week because I'm vomiting the whole time. And yeah, that's pretty traumatic. It's not very pleasant.
80 patients are on the trial. If they respond well, a 250 patient study will be carried out. Daniel Haslam died just months after this interview. His
Wow.
legacy may be better treatment for others. Andrew Thomas, Al Jazeera, Sydney.
So, guys,
We
even
have a feeling
though
about this
he
segment,
already
yeah.
passed away, guys, his legacy, he started a movement. He actually, what I loved about his story is he was passionate. He was like, you know what? I know I'm sick. I know I have cancer. I know that I am. So he had terminal cancer. So he knew he wasn't going to live, but he still wanted to feel better. And he did his
Yeah.
own research and he found out that cannabis was helping people. And so what he did was he just was like, you know what? Let me try it. And he was getting it illegal. Did y'all hear that part? He was getting it illegal, Tracy. Yes, illegal from a drug dealer, getting it because it was not legal where he was. Okay, and because of his persistence and because it worked,
He's a
he was
trailblazer for real.
yes a trailblazer. He was able to live a little bit of his life with less pain.
And suffering.
You
Yeah.
should say illegal, illegal, right? And so I'm saying that because, guys, that's why we come on here on Wednesdays, because we want y'all to understand that we are very passionate about hemp is hope. We're very passionate about CBD because we really, I'm gonna tell you my brief story. I have fibromyalgia. He did what he had to do. He did, and because he did what he had to do, now his whole country is legal in a lot of states. They're doing trials and stuff. And so sometimes if you think something is right, you gotta buck against the
Right.
system to help other people, and he's helping other people.
Right.
I have fibromyalgia. Did you hear what they said? They're doing a study to help terminal illness. They're doing a study to help people with epilepsy and nausea. And so that's amazing. Guys, a little bit about my story. I have fibromyalgia, which is an autoimmune disorder. I have sickle cell, the sickle cell trait,
Or
which
do
causes
you see yourself eventually one day teaching
and stuff like that.
people on deals?
Stuff like that. I think April had something playing in the background, so we just muted her. I don't think she could hear it. Hey, Miss April. uh, and so I deal with a lot of pain disorders. And so when I tell you guys, it was such a relief to find something that I could take that I could use on a daily basis that would not kill. I'm using the word kill my organs. Because guys, that's what
I think
happens.
that's important for you.
It kills your organs. It really does. When you take Tylenol, you get Tylenol poison. When you take a lot of other orders, it kills your organs. But anyway, I'm not gonna keep preaching.
Okay.
Thank y'all for coming up because I definitely appreciate it. So, Will, if you want to give them a little bit of testimony, April, we just heard a powerful story about a guy with cancer. But Will, if you want to give them a little bit of your story, I appreciate it.
All right. Hey, I'm Will Smith, real Mr. Will, right here in beautiful Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. If you ain't been here, come on down. And I see some comments and speaking to illegality of marijuana. It's only illegal because they can't make the money they want to make off of it. It's only illegal because of ignorance. It's only illegal because if Big Pharma can't capitalize on it, then there's a problem. So, Big Pharma has literally 1 million prescriptions that have at least one side effect. And here we are with things like hemp or even marijuana that aren't having negative side effects to the point of bleeding ulcers, diarrhea, headaches, vomiting. It's actually reversing.
Kidney failure.
Right. It's actually reversing a lot of the things that you go to the doctor and get a medication for, and the medication causes. So anyway, hemp is hope, not dope. That's for real. We my family, I got into the hemp products because I kept hearing about it from very, very reputable people that I had known for a long time. I'm talking like, over 15 solid years, okay? Over 15 solid years. And also I had visited the company headquarters, met top leaders, met the CEO of the company. Rachel is the same way. We get on planes, you know what I'm saying? We you don't have to be on that high of a level to try out a product, but I'm just saying you always have some type of pioneers in the field that you can follow and trust and get updated information from, right? So I have a son that was diagnosed with Asperger's. So I heard about the liquid drops for situations like autism. The Asperger's is under the autism spectrum. So at the time, my son, who is now 14, he was the most frustrating thing in my life. And I was always wondering, like, how can I tone this down? So I ended up buying a bottle, tried it out myself. And some of the things that I noticed, I was a little more calm because I can be like very high strung sometimes, or maybe my wife might say I'm high strung oftentimes. But also I have a moving company. So as most recently in the past year, when I'm finished with a big move, normally the next day I get out of the bed very slow and I'm very stiff. But after I tried the droplets, I think they might call them the fancy term tinctures or whatever. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I just know that I heard about it from some reputable people in a reputable company and tried it out. And I do dare say that I felt like it was expensive. But because of who I heard it from and people I knew, I tried it. But also, my son came home from school one day, and it had been kind of a tough week. I got the videos I could show you. Very very tough. Because they get very emotional, and sometimes you might think they're being violent, but if you really pay attention, a lot of times it's like they're crying out, like in some type of pain and some type of sadness or depression. So I was in the kitchen. My son comes through the door, and we was in a much smaller house back then. And I said, "Come here, boy, come here." I don't think I even let him get his book bag all good. And I said, "Open your mouth, hold your head back." I was just literally, this is how it went down because I was frustrated and I was like, I gotta try this as quick as possible. I put it on his tongue. I told him, "Hey, just relax for 1 minute. Come here, Jeremiah, because there go the culprit." Um, don't you go back there. You got a what? Just come here for a second. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about you live. At least wait. At least speak. They can't even see your face. So
Hey.
that's him. Have you taken some CBD products, Jeremiah? The things I put under your tongue.
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
Good.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
It's helpful.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, I feel like I noticed a difference the very first day. That's how I felt. I mean, I felt like if he was at a 90, usually through the week up to 100, I felt like it toned him down to like a 70. And I was like, I can live with this. I can spend this. At the time, the little bottle was $110, and I had become a distributor, a rep, or whatever, so I could get a discount. So, but 10 minus my little discount, I was like, it's on. I'm ordering it. Fast forward to last year, I literally asked my wife to get me a bottle of CBD oil for Father's Day. Yes, because I was going hard in my business. Father's Day is in the summertime. Myrtle Beach is crazy busy in the summertime, so I'm going hard like a lot of times through the week. I'm waking up still, and to be fully transparent, I was taking like a herbal supplement sometimes that would help, but it's in the powder form. So that's not always just convenient. Sometimes I might forget. Sometimes I might eat and not want to take a shake and I feel full or whatever. But the little tincture drop filled a void because I could take it right morning, noon, night, whatever. I could put it in my pocket, my book bag or whatever, take it with me. You know, it just made it so much easier to consume. And then also, I love the powder stuff, but the liquid is going right into your bloodstream. So some people are going to get instant results with situations they're having because it's like, bam, it is there, almost like a shot.
Right.
So I'm excited about it. I've had great results. And I just recommend, not a doctor, not a scientist, but I recommend that if you have any type of issues, maybe it is like the guy was having, you know, the lady was throwing up, the guy was having, you know, other nausea issues and things like that. Find a reputable company. If it's not one of us that you want to deal with, find a reputable company that's been around. Nothing against the new companies, but they're just, for your money, is oftentimes too much of a risk to try out what I call the pop-up companies that just kind of jumped on the bandwagon.
For your health, it's not worth
third-party testing. Make sure they have third-party testing.
Right. So anyway, I'll drop my mic. I'm excited about it, and I'm so thankful that all this has come together. I'll maybe tell our story, how Rachel and I met a little later, but I'll turn it on over to April or Rachel.
Miss April.
Hi guys. I know it's been a couple weeks. I've missed everyone.
We missed
Mom
you.
life. But yeah, I mean, I started using CBD because I was having crippling migraines that I just couldn't bear with anymore. And I was being told I was fine. And here's a med, take another med. With that med came a side effect. With that side effect came another side effect. And I just wasn't happy. And someone, my girl Brandy, she was always on the Facebook talking about things. And I was so curious, like, you know what? I know I trust her, I believe in her. So I was like, let me try it. And when I ordered it, and when I did, not only did it really, really, really help me on migraine days, I started to notice that my depression kind of dissipated a little bit, and my ADHD calmed down to where I could focus, and I was just more joyful. I was more pleasant to be around. I felt better, and it radiated off of me. And I started digging into why. And we have an endocannabinoid system that there's not too much information on at this current moment. And that could be the fact that science hasn't revealed that earlier, or it could be that they don't want you to know. I don't know, but it's coming out now that it's a huge system in our bodies. We have receptors densely packed in our brains and our guts, and those two are connected. So it's not a shock to me that all my ADHD, anxiety, depression calmed majorly down after taking them. So it's been really huge for me.
Thank you so much for sharing.
You're
And
welcome.
so I don't know if y'all caught everything that basically what Will has. I'm gonna go back to Will first. What Will had said was is that he have a son with Asperger's, and it calmed his son down dramatically because they have like fits.
He made
So
the honor roll for the first time this year. Like, I fell out of my
yay!
seat. I bought the boy some J's.
I love
I
it.
ain't had but
You
one
want the
pair of J's in my
retros?
life.
You get
I
some
love
retros.
Jordan. He's my favorite basketball player. But I had one pair of J's in my life. He wanted some Jordans this year, and I was like, all right, show me what you want. I mean,
Exactly. I
drastic
love that.
change.
I love that. That's
Drastic
amazing.
So
That guys, that's amazing. And that's why we come on the show on Wednesdays, because we are real people who really use these products, who it's changed our life. And so even though April is a mother and she be running like this, she tries her very best to get on here on Wednesdays so she can tell you her testimony or testimony from her client or information that she found. Will is a dad as well, and his daughter just was in track meets and doing a whole lot of other stuff, and he tried to do the same thing. And so what Will was telling you was he has a trucking company, a moving company, and
moving,
guys,
yeah.
that's hard on your back and stuff. And so he does it for information. And so April was telling you about headaches. Who listen to us consistently have headaches? Who listen to us consistently have aches and pains in your body? I mean, my son just came in here a little while ago, and true story, he's like, "Mama, can I get 2 Tylenols?" I was like, "Okay, would you like to take 2 drops of CBD instead?" I know somebody who had Tylenol poison. I
People,
know somebody who had kidney failure because of so much meds. you know? And so I'm just an advocate. I just want to help everybody who's listening. Reach out to us, send us an email, send us a text, post underneath the thing. What would you like for us to talk to you about next? And not this Wednesday, but the following Wednesday in 2 weeks. What questions do you have for us? I just a client just reached out to me, and she bought. So this is a true story. It's too funny. I give away my CBD sometime, my coffee, so you can taste it. And I gave her coffee, and she was like, "Oh my God, this has helped me so much, but I hate coffee." And so I was like, "Well, why did you take it?" I gave it to you because you were saying how much aches you have. She said, "Yeah, but when you said it helped you with your aches, I took it, and I've been drinking it, and I like it." And she actually ordered a whole 30. She ordered a whole month supply. But before she ordered it, I was like, "Why would you do the CBD oil? Why don't you do some gummies?" She was like, "What I've learned in my life is if something works, I want to stick with what works." And I was like, "Yes, but those will work too." She's like, "Nope, I'm drinking coffee. Don't even like coffee, but I'm drinking coffee." And I
she'll like it at the end of the month.
huh?
She'll like it at the end of the month.
But it was so funny because she was like, she said, I'm not gonna say what she does, but she said she's always so achy. like she never really feels well. And I told her I go, and so I told her, look, Tracy laughing. And so I was just like, she didn't tell me that she didn't like coffee though. So I was like, well, girl, you need to get my coffee. And so I gave her 3 free samples. And she was like, oh my goodness. The first day I was like, maybe it's a fluke. The second day, she said the third day, I was like, where's Rachelle at? Where's this at? I need this. I need this in my life. But before we hung up, she's like, I hate coffee. I was like, oh no, don't order it. I can send you a link to gummies. I can send you the link to drops. She's like, oh no, I want this. Like this, I like the way I felt. Like I like not being so sore and not being so achy. And I was like, yeah, but they will work. She said, the way I'm set up, if it works, I'm not fixing it. It's not broke. I'm like, oh my goodness. So yes. So when we tell y'all stuff, we tell you because we do it ourselves and we know that it works. Anybody else want to add something before we leave? Tracy, did you have any questions before we leave? Did y'all want to any subject y'all want to bring up before we leave?
Just crazy how we met. We met in Vegas. I was more so dealing with some travel product, and Rachelle, you was out there for the holistic stuff, right?
Yep, that's me.
So the companies we were dealing with end up merging, and so I heard Rachelle, she was kind of quiet, and she had went and jumped in the seat in the green room. They got a big old beautiful green room, studio room at this place we was touring. And when we got outside, I overheard her talking to some ladies, and she was saying she was shy. So I'm like, okay, I don't know any of these ladies, but let me ease into the conversation and just kind of start talking. Fast forward. We all was like, you're not shy. We saw the way you jumped up in that chair, and she said something about having a podcast and so forth. I ended up conversating her about what do you do in your podcast. She invited me on her podcast, her other podcast. I came on there talking about gold and silver. Plug MrWill.com, MISTA.Will.com. That I'm pushing gold and silver education, right? So I did the talk about gold and silver and why you should be investing in yada 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 in the falling dollar. Nothing about hemp, nothing about CBD and tinctures and stuff. But at the end of the show, she mentioned something about, starting a Hemp is Hope and so forth and so forth. Hemp is Hope, not dope. And she was telling me her testimonial. Okay, we just finished talking about gold and silver, and then she flips the script and tells me about her testimonial about her health. I was like, wow. But she told me that she had started using the hemp products, the CBD products. And I said, well, because I could tell I've been in holistic stuff for a long time too. But I wasn't with this company, right? But I was doing my gold and silver on the side and all that, right? So she, I could kind of tell she didn't really know about the endocannabinoid system, the ECS system your body has. So I said, well, the reason you have so many results is because your body has a whole endocannabinoid system. So it's going to affect everything from your head to your toe. Exactly. Yeah. She's like, you know about that? And I'm like, yeah. So she would ask me to be on the other show, which is now this show. And I've been on it for a year, strangely enough. She asked me to be on 3 shows. I said, yeah, I'll be on 3 shows. But it's so serious. And the results that myself, my family, and others that I know have had, it's like an obligation to put the word out, because I grew up on the west side of Anderson, west side. I grew up on the west side of Anderson, South Carolina. I saw so many people go to the doctor coming up, come back with a medication, 2 or 3 weeks or months later, go to the doctor, come back with another medication or 2 more medications, and a plethora of people I saw with a purse full of medications. They were walking pharmacies, basically. And as I got older and started to kind of get dripped on by the holistic industry, okay, I just kind of gradually got on into it. And really, it's a whole nother long story. But what really put it in my blood and in my veins was I had, I don't know if you would call it vertigo, but whatever. When you get up in the morning and you dizzy, and the guy had me try out some some little pills back in the day that was like not just degradable, but they had a certain bowel availability to them, and that's a another whole story. But that caught my attention because my vertigo or whatever it was like instantly went away.
And so was that CBD?
No, that was like a nutritional pill from this company, like long time ago. I was in the army. This was like in the 90s.
Oh, in the army. Okay.
And the guy it was kind of like people was like, oh, they're selling snake oil, but the guy gave me some and it worked. And I was just like, it caught my ear because I was like, it's something that the medical industry is not telling us. So I was young back then, chasing girls, chasing sports cars and racing and stuff like that. So I really wasn't in it. But it planted a seed that I gotta pay more attention to.
I like that you said that. Yeah,
I have to pay more attention.
Else out there. Yeah.
Right.
So she asked 3 different questions. Are you gonna answer it, April? Did you see the questions?
Oh, April. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
So she asked, would this help with arthritis? Who want to hit that? Who want to answer that?
Yeah, the inflammation. That arthritis is just inflammation, and CBD products definitely help with inflammation. That's why when I get up in the mornings, I'm not as stiff. Every time I take the droplets or the gummies, then it loosens me up, so I'm more fluid. Heck, I'm chasing my kids around.
Right. The second one is, how often do you drink the coffee for it to work? So I drink my coffee every single day. The lady I'm gonna answer it. I'm gonna think we all can probably answer it, maybe, because we may all have different response. So the lady who just tried my coffee, she said the first day she felt results, but she thought it was maybe a fluke because she worked at her desk a little bit more the first day. The second day she worked harder and she was like, oh, this works. And the third day she was like, I need to order this. So it worked the very first day that she used it. I know for the drops, the same results, and the gummies, the same results. It's instant. April, would you like to add anything to that?
She's muted.
You're muted.
I don't know why it keeps doing that.
Time for it to get into your body, because if you got something else going on in your body, it may take some time, because your body is so smart. It may take the stuff and try to put most of it towards something else, because just like your body creates, like different cells create different organs, your body is so smart. It knows exactly what to do with something when it gets it in its body.
Yeah, I noticed it right away, but my friend, it took her 2 weeks. But I'm a huge advocate with CBD and inflammation. And I read an article on a couple podcasts back, if you want to go back and look, about our arthritis on this show. And CBD is a huge help for arthritis, because arthritis is a lot of inflammation. So that is one of the biggest things CBD helps with, is inflammation. The endocannabinoid system and all that helps with temperature control of your body. And sometimes with inflammation, you have a higher temperature. And when your body has a higher temperature, you have higher inflammation. So the endocannabinoid system, when regulated, helps control temperature control, which is from the endocannabinoid system. The receptors go right to that.
That's why I told April to answer that question, because we did do a podcast about arthritis a couple of months. I think it was like last month or a month after, a couple of months ago. And she had found really good study about arthritis and CBD. That's why I wanted her to answer that question. And then vertigo. I know we have a product that does vertigo, but it's not.
So I have bad vertigo, and I've been doing a lot of research on it more lately than ever. Mine's called positional vertigo, which is something in the inner ear. But that's what I've been told my whole life. But the more I'm researching, the more I have found one of the number one symptoms with high inflammatory systems and bodies and muscles is vertigo. So I have TMJ. When my TMJ is really flared up and my inflammation's high up in my body, I think there's a correlation with it being so close to my ear, and there's just not enough room for everything. And when that happens, everything starts getting pushed and pulled and pronged and moved out of the areas it's supposed to. And that's when I think I'm having major vertigo issues. I'm not going to say it's not possible in other categories. I'm not going to say that. But if it's like regulatory and it's correlated with high inflammation moments in your body, I'm going to tie it to that, which then, yes, 100% CBD would help. If you're in certain positions and it keeps getting flared or triggered, then yeah, you want to avoid those flare or trigger positions until you could figure out what's causing it. But a lot of times, I think if you narrow down your inflammation, I think you would narrow down your vertigo.
Oh, okay. I like that. Tracy, we really do a lot of research, girl. Like, we don't just come up here and be saying stuff. Like, I be like this, looking up, watching videos. You see, I found that video.
Oh, here's the comments. I don't know how I didn't see this before. Sorry, guys.
And then you see, I put on there. I said, you gonna answer it? You didn't answer
April
it.
wanted to answer. Yeah, I'm the worst. So I had private thing up. I didn't have the regular ones. And I'm like, I don't see these comments. Like, where are they?
Right.
Yeah.
And so, any questions you have, but I recently started experiencing vertigo, and so I kind of was looking into it. And I found something, and for some reason I cannot find it. But I also too, I know I shouldn't bring this up. I was in love with this product that had CBD and curcumin in it. And when I tell you, that product was like the best ever. Curcumin is an amazing product.
I was so upset.
Together was just like made me superwoman, and they no longer sell this product.
Girl, me and you about to make that. We're about to make that.
Seriously.
Because I'm obsessed.
So, I am so looking for a product that has curcumin and CBD, because I was so by it. Because that thing was the bomb. So if we don't have any more questions, all right, guys, we're about to go. Anything else we can think of?
Hey, come back in 2 weeks. Hemp is Hope, Not Dope. Come on back. Get your questions ready and order something in the process. It has a money back guarantee. So, it's better to go ahead and start treating your body right. Get into doing something different. If the old saying goes, nothing changes if nothing changes. I'm out.
Oh, that's good. Thank you, Tracy, for all your comments. She said she shared on her page. We definitely appreciate it. All right, did you just sign us out, Will?
Yeah, we signed out. We out of here. 2 weeks, come back and order something. Hemp is Hope, Not Dope. Let's get it.
Bye, guys.